Hello again. Today we are going to be solving equations with variables on both sides. So let's say we have 8x equals 6x plus 10. So the first step is going to be to move all the variables to one side of the equation. All right, so I'm going to look for the biggest coefficient, which in this case is 8. So that means I'm going to want everything to be on this side. So I'm going to choose to move this 6x to the other side of the equation. So I will do that by either adding or subtracting it. So because this 6x is positive, I will subtract 6x on both sides of the equation. And what that does is it cancels the 6x's. I'll bring down my equal sign, and now I'll bring this 10 down. So I have 10 left on the right side of the equal sign. And now I will do 8x minus 6x, which is 2x. Now I will divide both sides by 2. So that means our next step in this problem would be to divide both sides of the equal sign by the coefficient. So the coefficient, remember, is the number multiplied by the variable. So divide both sides here by 2. Those 2's cancel, and I'm left with x equals, well, I have 10 divided by 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So next I need to check my solution. So I'm going to test it. So I'll rewrite the original equation, which was 8x equals 6x plus 10. So now I need to plug this value of x in everywhere x occurs. So I'll rewrite this as 8 times 5 equals 6 times 5 plus 10. And then we'll simplify. So we do multiplication first. So here I have some multiplication. 8 times 5 is 40 equals, well, I can do multiplication again. 6 times 5 is 30 plus 10. So 40 is equal to, well, 30 plus 10, that's 40. That works. Check. That means my final answer is x equals 5. So here we have 7x minus 11 equals 4x plus 13. Notice that there are variables on both sides of the equation, but there are also constants on both sides of the equation. So I'm still going to move all the variables to one side first as my first step. So I'll want to move this 4x to the other side of the equation, and I do that by subtraction. So I'll subtract, so I will even add to my note here, move all variables to one side using addition or subtraction. So I'm going to subtract 4x on both sides because this is a positive 4x. So I will subtract 4x over here, and that cancels the 4x on the right side of the equation. I will bring down my equal sign, and I'm left with 13 on the right side. Notice it's plus 13, so therefore it is positive 13. And on the left, I have 7x minus 4x. Well, that's 3x, and I will bring down this minus 11. So notice that I still have constants on both sides of my equation. So I'm actually going to add a middle step here. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move all constants to be together using plus and minus. Make sure that when you move them to the opposite side from where the variable is. Don't move the 13 over here. Okay? Don't do that. You want to move this minus 11 to the other side. So the way I move minus 11 is I add 11. So I'll add 11 to both sides of the equation. All right, I'll bring down my equal sign, and these 11s cancel. So now I'm left with 3x on the left side of the equation, and 13 plus 11 is 24. So now I have 3x equals 24. So I will divide both sides by 3. Those 3's cancel. I'm left with x equals, well, 24 divided by 3 is 8. So now let's test it. Let's rewrite the original equation, which is 7x minus 11 equals 4x plus 13. So I'm going to replace all the x's with this 8 here. So I have 7 times 8 minus 11 equals 4 times 8 plus 13. So I have 7 times 8, that's 56, minus 11 equals, well, 4 times 8 is 32 plus 13. 56 minus 11, that's 45, equals, well, 32 plus 13 is also 45. Check. Looks like our solution is correct. So that means our final solution is x equals 8. So here we have 2x minus 19 equals negative 2x plus 1. All right, so our first step is to move all the variables to one side of the equation using adding and subtracting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this minus 2x, I'm going to put it on the other side of the equation. Remember, it's a negative 2x, so I'm going to add to move it to the other side of the equation. And make sure when you add this that you add the x's to the x's. So I'm going to add 2x to this 2x. Do not add it to the 19. It's very important. So I will cancel here, bring down the equal sign, and I'm left on the right side with plus 1. That's positive 1, so we'll just leave that as 1. All right, now I will add my x's. I have 2x plus 2x, and that's 4x. I'll bring down that negative 19 or minus 19. All right, so all done moving the variables to one side of the equation. My next step is to move all constants to be together using adding and subtracting. Well, remember, constants are numbers that do not have a variable attached to them. Well, here I have a minus 19 over here with this 4x. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move that minus 19 to the other side. But the way you move minus 19 is to add 19 to both sides. Make sure you add 19 to both sides of the equation. All right, these 19s cancel. I am left with 4x equals, well, 1 plus 19 is 20. So the last step, so we'll call this one step 3. The last step is to divide both sides of the equal sign by the coefficient. All right, what is the coefficient? That's the number that's multiplied by the variable. In this case, it's 4. The coefficient is the number multiplied by the variable. So I'm going to divide both sides by 4. And what that does is it cancels those 4's, leaving me with x equals, well, 20 divided by 4 is 5. So I'm going to plug 5 in to the equation to check the solution. So my original equation was 2x minus 19 equals negative 2x plus 1. So I take that 5 and I plug it in for both values of x. So now I have 2 times 5 minus 19 equals negative 2 times 5 plus 1. So I'll simplify. I will do all of the multiplication first. So I will do 2 times 5, which is 10, minus 19 equals, well, negative 2 times 5 is negative 10 plus 1, right? Now I'll do 10 minus 19. 10 minus 19 is negative 9 equals, and then I will do negative 10 plus 1. Negative 10 plus 1 is negative 9. Check. So that works. That means our final answer is x equals 5. And that is how you solve equations with variables on both sides.